So I'd like to ask Ms. Eubanks a simple question. If we have an industry that knowingly, and that's the point, knowingly understood that carbon emissions were causing climate change, knowingly understood that climate change will bring devastating destruction to the lives of billions of people, what are the legal grounds that we can hold them accountable for? Ms. Eubanks?
Well, a lot of it would depend on whether it was in a state or the federal government. The federal government RICO statute, of course, has provisions that we used in the tobacco litigation and was a way to bring all of the claims under the same umbrella. Conspiracy is a good claim to look at in a lot of the statutes that are involved in consumer protection laws.
Or if you were Attorney General of the United States, would you proceed in that direction?
I would, yes. No question.
If a large corporation knowingly produces a product that gets me sick or kills me, I would assume that we have an abundance of laws to prosecute that company and to hold them accountable and to demand punitive damages. My dad, like so many other people, smoked several packs of cigarettes a day. He died, I suspect, largely because of that, as did millions of other Americans who were lied to by the tobacco industry. I remember as a kid seeing doctors in white coats on television smoking cigarettes, telling the American people how flavorable and good these cigarettes were while they were killing the American people. Let me ask Mr. Sopran a question. What, in your judgment, are the similarities between the actions of big tobacco and what we're seeing with the fossil fuel industry today?
Thank you, Senator. As I said during my opening statement, big oil is frankly the new big tobacco. My colleagues and I have published an article called America Misled, where we lay out the evidence for these similarities. They are multifold, from the strategies to the personnel.
Have they been consistently lying?
The oil industry.
Yes.
They have been consistently misleading the public about the realities and implications of their products, yes.
And if you have a huge entity in the United States, the fossil fuel industry, the oil companies, misleading the American people, not allowing us or having the information to take the kind of actions that we should have taken dozens of years ago. What are the implications of that?
So it's important to clarify this. I'm not a lawyer, but as my statement made very clear, we have the receipts. We have overwhelming evidence that this industry has known since twice my lifetime about the dangers of their products, and they knowingly and deliberately created a multi-decade, multi-billion-dollar campaign to confuse.
And the results of that is that countries all over the world were very slow-moving in attempting to deal with climate change. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct. It's enshrined in the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change's most recent assessment that this history of disinformation and lobbying has delayed action on climate change worldwide.
Do you have any understanding of how many hundreds of billions or trillions of dollars in damage will take place as a result of that misleading campaign?
It's hard to ascribe specific dollar values to specific actions because obviously we live in a complex, multi-connected society. But at the same time, and also I'm not an economist, but economists have studied this, estimate that by around 2030, the consequences of global warming could include a $240 billion COVID-like economic shock every 5 years. So
every
this is very
5
much,
years?
Yeah.
Well, in my view, it should not be state government or the federal government having to pick up the bill. I think it's time to ask the people who caused that problem, who lied about that situation, to pick up the bill. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.